This is Shutters Inc. with Bruce Williams and Glynn Lavender.
Hi and welcome to episode 542 of Shutters Inc. This is Bruce Williams from shuttersincpodcast.com, and joining me once again via Skype from Melbourne, it is Mr. Glynn Lavender from creativephotoworkshops.com.au. How are you?
Pardon? Have we started? Hello, everyone. It's welcome to be here. It's nice to be back, and it's also nice to be front.
Right.
Sideways is also okay.
Excellent. How's your week been? 2 weeks been?
7 days. It's been 2 weeks, 14 days. Anyway, it's been twice as good as 1 week. Well, the kids are back at school. That's a start. Yeah, got rid of them.
That is always a good thing.
It's a good thing. And
are they glad to be back at school?
Well, not really. One's changed. Well, they both changed schools, so it's a bit of getting used to. And one is happy. He's got lots of friends in his class and stuff. The other one doesn't know anybody. No one sits next to her in class. She's all alone.
Right.
And came out of her bedroom last night crying. So.
Oh.
Yes, all the joys of
the joys of high school. Yeah.
There's only 3 kids went from her school to this new school, and it's like I don't know. There must be at least 10 or 11 or 12 grade 7s, right? So it's like 300 or 400 kids.
Yeah,
they put all 3 of them in different classes. There's only 3 kids, and the problem is the school goes from prep to year 10 to year 9.
Right.
So there's lots of kids have moved from already all know each other, been there together for 6 years, moved up from 6 to 7.
Yep.
And then there's another really big feeder school that sends the majority of the other ones who've also all been together for 6 years.
Yep.
And then there's these 3 little kids, individual kids, who don't know any of those other cliquey groups.
Yep.
And they all get separated. It's
that's
not even thinking, guys,
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're working through that. All the joys of being a parent.
Yep.
I was at my guitar lessons are back.
Okay.
Days are back on. So I had my first guitar lesson back yesterday, and during the break, my guitar teacher had put up a photo on Instagram. They're expecting twins, their first kids, and so I spent my guitar lesson warning him.
As you do.
It's the best of times. It's the worst of times.
But mostly it's the worst of times.
Mostly it's the worst of times. Don't ever say, this won't be my kids. Yes, it will be your kids. Your kids will be just that. Everything you hate in other people's kids, your kids will be it.
Yep.
Every single, doesn't matter what it is. So... so good. So I'm back to. I've been out taking photos.
Oh, cool! What of?
Been photographing my footy team again last week and this week. So
excellent.
I was out there today and got another 40 or 50 shots.
Am I right in thinking we're only about 3 weeks away from round 1?
Oh, about 6.
Oh, sorry, end of March, not end of Feb. Yes.
Yeah, but they start doing intra-club training matches, matches. And against other clubs, unofficial games, that kind of stuff. So, yes, that's kind of good. Went down there, so came out with another 40 or 50 keepers.
Nice.
Footy group.
Yeah.
And, tried to use my enormous footy brain and decipher what they're all doing, what was the purpose and what's the plan behind all their movements and stuff. So disseminate that vast knowledge of mine to the group under the disclaimer, I don't really know what I'm doing.
Right.
So, that's kind of good. And I see you put up some photos this week finally from Darwin.
I did. Kath got in my ear last weekend and mentioned that one of her nursing friends who apparently loves my photography, had a little bit of a whinge to Kath that I hadn't put up my photos from Darwin. And so I thought, I suppose I should put some up. And so that's why I did. So
I was a bit disappointed, to be honest.
With?
Well, the fact that you posted those up, not just that. So I then, seeing that you had some minor disillusionment with the images, I downloaded a bunch and edited them all nicely and posted them back up on your I fixed them up for you, mate. And you didn't even comment. I didn't even get not even a like. Didn't you? I didn't know if you even saw
I'm pretty
them.
sure you got a laugh here and there.
Don't think so.
Yeah.
Not from you.
Pretty sure.
Really?
Pretty sure.
I've seen that. I like one of. I'm going to say, Max is looking like a full-grown adult.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, it just looks like a completely different person.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I've been trying to tell you. Yeah.
This strapping, big, mustachioed. You should have told me he had a little something growing on his lip. But,
yes.
But so there was a photo of him and your lovely missus, and then you were there. So I chopped you out.
I saw that.
To make the photograph a
less
little less
distracting. Remove distracting elements, I think, was the
and
phrase.
All your photos needed was a touch more contrast and a touch more saturation, mate. Yeah, just a touch. Just the wee tiniest of little bumps. Yeah, so we should use one of those slightly edited images as our image for the week of the podcast. You know, give people a little taste of, and maybe we could do a before and after. You can put up your slightly more muted and my slightly more improved. Yeah. I spent ages in those, dude. Didn't
I can tell.
Minutes.
Seconds even.
On my phone. Maybe you can do a Snapseed.
With my eyes closed.
Maybe you can do a Snapseed, just edit. And again, I mean, the photos you put up wouldn't be high res, and they're at best JPEGs. It's amazing, actually, the detail that Snapseed could pull out of a low res JPEG. It was quite amazing. If I'd been feeling really good, I should have done it on my computer and replace skies and stuff, and then replace the grounds. So you'd have a different sky and a different ground. Yeah. But I see what you mean. The photos were your river cruises at the wrong time of day to be anything interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Tough,
that was
like there when you're there.
1:30 in the afternoon. You had no say in the matter. So
that's it. I mean, you've got what you get. Yeah. So this is what I say to people about the difference between a photo tour and a tour. A tour, you're there when it's convenient for the trip. On a photo tour, you're there when it's inconvenient for you, but it's the best time to take photos. You may have to go further, or get up earlier, or or leave somewhere good to go somewhere hopefully better. At a time to be there for the right kind of times.
Yep.
So a big difference between a tour and a photo tour.
Yeah, absolutely. With my work at the ABC, I've found a girl who works for a bureau in Western Australia up at Karratha, of all places, who I've been using as our promo voice. She's a really good promo voice. And I was talking to her.
By the way, Bruce, if you ever need a deep, dulcet voice for voiceovers, I'm open for many offers.
Thank you, mate. And I was talking to her, must have been earlier this week, and she happened to mention that she's off on holiday for a month. And I said, oh, cool, where are you going? And she said, Patagonia.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, oh, that is so cool. That's bucket list stuff. So, I don't think she's a photographer, but...
So what's the point of the conversation then, Bruce?
Well,
somebody who's going overseas.
No, because you took a tour to Patagonia, didn't you?
No, I didn't. Don't lie to me.
Oh, maybe it was the previous co-host.
Now have a think. Now have a think. Why would I not take a tour group to Patagonia?
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, why wouldn't I?
Too much walking for you?
Okay, let's make a list.
Too
10.
cold.
A top 10. Okay. No, I like the cold.
Okay. Not enough people.
Good reason on the list.
Okay.
Not the number one. We polled 100 people, Bruce, and their number one answer was scared of heights.
Oh, are you?
Oh, massive phobia of heights.
Is that right?
Yeah,
well, you don't have to walk up the mountains. You can just photograph them from the bottom.
I used to be so scared of heights, Bruce, I couldn't walk under a tall building. Serious. I couldn't walk under a skyscraper. Serious.
Wow. As in walk past one?
Yeah, like not literally under it, because that's impossible for any of us. I'm not into shoplifting. No, I could. It's just the fear of walking underneath, alongside a skyscraper. It almost paralysed me. I couldn't go over like a train road bridge, 20 foot up off the road. Yeah, right. I'd be in a cold sweat.
Wow. I did not know that.
I didn't. Anything over about 4 floors used to be about that was my limit. Wow. 4 floors, preferably 3.
Yeah, right.
would be my maximum height. So when I was at my worst.
Wow.
So it's a 40-year journey of trying to recover from it.
Yeah, right.
And but I could still not go up mountains.
Was there some particular trauma that inspired this fear, or?
Yeah, I woke up one night and there was a frog on my chest.
What's that got to do with it?
Who knows? But it made me scared of heights.
Okay.
That may not be the true story.
I'm suspecting that might be the case.
I was actually climbing Ayers Rock, funnily enough.
Okay.
So I had a really, really, really bad cold. Yeah, well, school excursion. Yeah,
Okay.
School trip, and really bad cold, bronchitis, wheezing, and big barking cough.
Right.
Particularly unwell, and we were supposed to climb Ayers Rock like about 4:00 one afternoon.
Right.
But the bus had a flat tire. We got late, so we didn't get in time. It was all closed for the night. So we said, okay, they're going to take us. We're going to do it first thing in the morning, like crack of dawn in the morning. So we got there. It was freezing cold. If you know the outback, it can be freezing cold.
Yeah.
So it was freezing cold. I'm coughing my lungs out. And as all those young 15-year-old wannabe heroes, we all decided we'd bolt up the Ayers Rock as fast as we could. Now, for those who haven't seen Ayers Rock in real life, it's a mofo. It's a big piece of rock.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've not walked up Ayers Rock, the first 400 metres maybe is chain link fence.
It's pretty much vertical. Yep.
Pretty much vertical. But what you also know is it's basically on a ridge. So it's a drop off to the right and drop off to the left. So there's young me, bolted up with all my mates, got almost to the top of the chain link fence, and all of a sudden I couldn't breathe because the cold weather and not being able to breathe.
Yep.
Then I span round, not being able to breathe, and saw this massive drop off on all sides, basically, and just plummeting straight. It's almost vertical, straight down.
Yeah, right.
And not being able to breathe, just this massive panic attack.
Wow.
Yeah, so I basically fell to the ground, and I had to crawl down the rock on my bum and hands and feet, past my entire year 9 or what it was school group. All the kids, all taking the out of me. All was been the stigma of having to climb down in sheer panic and not be able to breathe past all these kids ruined me for years.
Yeah, right.
I'm a sensitive soul, Bruce. You've probably known, obviously, through the years of podcasts.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was it.
Wow.
It got to me. It was the point when I finally started trying to get a bit braver in life. When I was sort of 18 and 19 to try and expand my horizons. I mean, I couldn't go anywhere for years that I didn't know exactly what the route was. And even to this date, like I'm planning this trip through England, I'd go down Google Maps on the roads, looking at the roads to get a feel for are there any hills, what's the exposure like, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, right.
What are the bridges? If you have to cross over a bridge, what does it look like? Okay, that's too high. What are the alternatives? So I still, even to this day, have to make lots of detailed plans for stuff.
Wow.
But yeah, when I finally decided I wanted to go to New Zealand to go fly fishing, I had to take drugs to fly.
Wow.
Yeah, and some seriously funny stories about that. And anyone that's seen me on those drugs will attest. It's always a good entertainment. Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, so that's and so even to this day, not good with heights at all. But now I can go up, like if I had to, 15 floors of a building.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes in India I'm on the 19th floor.
Yeah.
And whilst I don't love it, I've done it. And I can. Yeah,
you're able to cope with it. Yep.
Yeah, but I still can't go over tall bridges easily.
Yeah,
so we've got a big bridge here called the Westgate Bridge. Every time I drive towards it, I'm watching to see what the traffic's like. And if it's looking too busy, I'd take a diversion and go the long way around.
Wow.
And it didn't help that a friend of mine threw himself off the top of it on my birthday.
Oh.
So I had bad vibes about this place in the first place, and then this get added to it, Wow. And just the other week, so I've been trying to be brave. Just the other week, my daughter had a drama performance in St Kilda, which is on the other side of the bridge, and we're driving down there. The bridge is a little bit busy, but not too bad. Now, my biggest fear in life just about is stopping on that bridge if the traffic stops.
Yeah, right.
And I'm driving, I'm going, we're a bit behind schedule. I'll take a risk. Got about 3/4 of the way up and it stopped.
Oh.
The amount of stuff you have to do mentally to try and not completely freak out whilst driving, stationary on top of a bridge,
Yeah, right.
And of course, it's all internal. No one else seems to know. So it's phobia is a terrible thing, you know.
Right.
So I sympathise with anyone. It was someone I don't understand. What do you mean he's scared of spiders? Yeah, but not scared, but phobia. Yeah, irrational. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so so every tour I do, it's not hamstrung by the fact, but maybe we've got a choice of A or B. Oh, let's go to B because A looks scary. Yeah. But so it's kind of a lifelong bit of joy.
Right.
And the worst, I mean, I tried. I went to psychiatrists, I went to hypnotherapists, I went to psychologists. Everything to cure it. I lost faith when I was seeing a psychiatrist for probably about 6 or 8 weeks and start to feel like I go work. But no, I lied. The psychiatrist couldn't look me in the eyes, so I didn't go back because I just kept staring him in the eyes and refused to look away and didn't blink. And he couldn't look at me, so I had no trust that his mental ability was strong enough to teach me anything. Yeah. There was a hypnotherapist I've been seeing, and he decided, we're going to have a meeting, a session, not in the office, but at this cafe. It's just at the bottom of this tall building, on the mezzanine level. Right. So we went in, and it wasn't a mezzanine; it was the express elevator to the 50th floor. And it was kind of a shock therapy. Oh. You're like you can get a punch in the head. But funny enough, last time I ever saw so I've just found coping mechanisms because I couldn't trust any of these people to actually do what they say they claim they can do.
Yeah, right.
And being an obstinate like I am anyway, it probably doesn't help. Probably not the ideal subject, ideal patient. And having the massive intellect that I have, I analyse them as much as they analyse me, and I question everything they're doing. And I look for flaws. It's an excuse. You look for flaws to say, well, they're no good. So it's like one of my doctor seeing yesterday. He's just lost 23 kilos, which is good because he was fat. Right. You know, he's a heart doctor. And he's trying to tell me about cholesterol. Look at you. You've got diabetes, you've got cholesterol, you're fat. He goes, pot kettle black. Yeah. I thought I better start walking the walk.
It's like the mechanic who can fix everyone else's car and never fixes his own.
Yeah, the painter and the gardeners, the carpenters, and all those things, they're their own worst funny people, But one thing I say, if you do ever go, the chance to go visit some psychiatrists and psychologists, there's some pretty screwed up people. There's a lot of very nervous, there's a lot of nervous, twitchy people in there. Right. And apparently, if you just stare at someone and don't blink, that puts them off. Only for 50 minutes, but you think, It's strange.
Since 2005, Shutters Inc. has been a labour of love. But beyond the time required to produce it, there is also a financial commitment. If you find value in the podcast and would like to help keep the servers running, hit up the Patreon link, which is in the show notes. Even a couple of dollars a month will help. Much appreciated. Now, back to the podcast.
One of the AFL football players' mums messaged me tonight because his son, he got drafted just this last draft. His mum messaged me tonight and saying, look, my son, because he did his knee towards the end of last year, so he's not expected to play for this entire year. He's going to be in rehab for the year, the poor kid. But he's just coming off the anti-gravity treadmill machines, and in a couple of weeks' time he's going to be out on the track doing some bit of work. So she messaged me up to see if I could take photographs for her and give it any updated reports. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah. So I've been sending photos to some players if anything of note happens. Yeah. So like last week, whilst in the midst of training, I see this little tyke about 1.5 feet tall come running out onto the ground, full North Melbourne outfit. He's got the hat, he's got the jersey, he's got the shorts, the socks, the shoes, and he runs straight out in the middle of the ground, right up to our coach. And he's like, that's the knee high. And then instead of coaching, the coach has picked up this kid and he's tossing him around in the air, he's putting him upside down, he's wrestling him on the ground. So I photographed all that, and it was one of the players' kids. So I sent that to him as well. So that was kind of nice, Yeah,
nice.
And he was rather happy. Yeah, so it's just kind of nice doing that. So you feel nice doing something with photography again, and helping people feel a bit happy about the world and stuff. If they're seeing some pics of things that are important to them. So, nice. so on my Facebook group, there's a lot of supporters from around the country who obviously can't get to training. And of course, there's no footage. I mean, the club might put up a couple of photos, but there's no real reporting or what's going on. So I put up a weekly report with what I've observed plus 40 or 50 photos, and
nice.
It's kind of nice bit of community.
Lovely.
So it's amazing what photography can do.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Do also, and you see these people who do like photograph their son's soccer team or baseball team or whatever, and how they get some deeper into that whole community too, which is pretty good.
Yeah,
I like it.
Nice. All right, should we talk some photography?
Did we just do that? I sent you something the other day. I can't remember what it was.
You sent me the stories from the Road Museum, which is a Facebook group.
Oh yeah, did I?
You did.
I sent you something from the Met. A modern museum.
Yeah, well, that was the next one. We can do that.
Well, let's do that one first because that's the only one I know of to start. I can think of.
Okay.
I didn't actually look at the article other than I just saw the headline and the first picture or two.
Yeah.
It's this cabbie has been photographing his customers for 30 years.
Yeah. So the first paragraph really sets up the story well. In 1980,
that's all I read.
Aspiring photographer Ryan Wiedemann landed in New York City from California looking to make a name for himself. But he soon found himself focused on more practical matters like paying the rent. Thanks to his neighbour, who was a cab driver, he found himself riding along in the taxi one night, and by the next day he'd found both a way to pay the bills and the perfect outlet for his creativity. And so over the next 30 years, he just photographed people who rode in his cab. And, yeah, it's a great collection.
So I only see a couple of the photos. Do you have a link for it?
Yeah, sure. Hang on, I'll post it back to you.
Thanks. It's not easy accessible for me at the moment. There we are.
Right.
So I saw the cover shot. So what's she dressed like? What's she doing like that in the back of a cab? What's she doing? But yeah, then I saw obviously the cab driver and the guy in the back seat. I thought were really cool.
Yeah,
really, it's almost like Che Guevara-ish. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is that consistency. Like when people photograph their kids from like the age of 1 to like 18 or whatever in the same spot. That consistency of the shot. So the location and of course he's done it all in black and white too, which kind of adds to the mood. Yeah. And there's a lot of similarity to the shots, but that's also part of the theme.
Appeal. Yeah.
So I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know where I even came. There wasn't a lot of photography thread. Like an Apple News thing was sent to me. So that was cool.
This other one that you sent, the stories from the Road Museum Australia.
What's that?
Is a road transport museum dedicated to the trials and tribulations of the men, women and machinery that made Australia the great country it is today.
I don't know why I would send you that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
There was no other context.
There appears to be lots of pictures of trucks and an old garage and some more trucks and some more trucks. Yeah, okay. We'll just pass on that. I'll put the link in the show notes for anyone that does want to check it out.
Are you sure I sent it to you?
I'm pretty sure it was you.
How did I send it to you? Did I send it on...
Via Facebook Messenger. And immediately after you sent the link, you said, for the podcast.
Really? So I must have had a reason.
You would have thought.
I got a very rare... Oh, no, I remember now. No, that's right. No, there's a reason.
Yeah.
The link that it goes to is actually... Mine goes to a Facebook page of a guy called Troy Kinsmore. So the link I sent you...
Oh, okay. So I see. You linked to a specific post on the group.
Did I?
Gotcha.
Yeah. Have you got that now?
I have, and it's an old newspaper van for the Sun.
Yes, it's an old darkroom. It's an old mobile darkroom.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so this is a guy going around with 4x5 plate cameras in the 1950s. Yeah, with like the old Graflexes and stuff.
Yeah, right.
And he's driving around from the Herald and Sun newspapers. It was their mobile darkroom.
Wow, in an old Dodge truck.
Yes, they drive around and so I thought it was pretty darn cool, but especially for the history of for Melbourneites. But I thought, what a cool piece of kit.
That is really cool.
And it's still got like the Herald written across the top there and everything else.
Yep. Well, I will just update the link in my text document so that I make sure that we've got that link and not just the link to the group. Cool.
It's just brilliant. It's just such a cool cool bit of Australian photographic history.
Yeah, for sure.
So I found that. And then I sent a couple of articles through just before, because I accidentally did a bit of research before the show again. And I can't remember what they are now. No, that's right. There's 2 AI stories.
Yeah.
There's a new service, a new free service called Lunchbox.
Okay.
And it's for restaurants who want photographs of the meal that they're serving, and rather than paying a photographer who get to, but if they've only got one new dish, you're not going to get someone to come in and or if they're a small like cafe or whatever, you're not going to pay. So now they can just type in the type of thing it is, and select the most appropriate looking thing to what they're making.
Yeah, right.
And it's putting photographers out of business. But
well, you see, this is the big thing I've been hearing over the last couple of weeks is all of the people who are working in creative industries saying all of these AI engines are trained to plagiarize.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's
they're stealing other people's images.
No credit and no payment to anyone who generated the original work.
But see, the problem is it's not from an original work. It might be 1,000.
No, absolutely.
It might be, say, if you type in sushi, it looks at 1,000 pictures of sushi.
Yep.
And what, you want 1,000th of a credit? Yes. Not going to happen, is it?
Yeah.
But there are some lawsuits going on about that too. So it's going to be interesting to see how that develops going forward.
Yeah.
But, like all things, this is going to be the end of photography, it's going to be the end of... It's not. It's just going to shift and change. And, people will come out with better ways, better reasons to hire a photographer than, I'm a photographer.
It's just another disruptor.
Yeah.
It's like what Airbnb was to the hotel industry and what Uber was to the taxi industry.
And if anyone's looked at any AI creative images, there's an awful lot of similarity to it.
Yes. Yeah.
So, what's going to make you be employed as a photographer? Doing stuff that's not the same as everything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of the day, your creative talent, if you've got any, should still hold you in good stead. In fact, it might make you even better. Because if everything else is mediocre, you might stand out even more and be able to command an even higher price.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? It might actually be a godsend for photographers. All the crappy jobs that no one wants to do, that what it would it could do, it's just thinking, off the top of my head, is all the churn and burn photographers.
Yeah.
All the guys who do $50 jobs and $20 jobs, and they're going to lose their job because why pay $50 for them when I can type in a few words and get something similar on the AI engine? It costs me $50 a year to be a member or whatever.
Yeah.
So the churn and burns may disappear. But you know what? An AI is never going to go out and photograph someone's birth, or somebody's first birthday, or someone's wedding, or someone's funeral, or a conference, or all of the so many things that you take photographs of. It can't replicate the personal.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's plenty of opportunities out there.
And, as you were saying that, I was thinking what happens when we get to the point where we do have, androids walking amongst us, thinking Boston Dynamics 20 years down the track. Yeah, well, let me finish. Even if we had androids walking around with cameras built into them to take those photos, as you have mentioned and plenty of other photographers have mentioned in the past, a huge part of good portraiture is the emotional connection that the photographer has with the person sitting. And an android is never going to have that. And the person sitting for the portrait is never going to feel that attachment.
What if the android is indecipherable from a human?
Well, hey, it may very well get to that Android, at some point.
The version 2 Android, like the first one's going to come out, it's going to be like, have a weird-looking head and talk like the first-generation Siri.
Yeah.
Eventually. Who knows,
20 years from now, who knows? Yeah,
exactly. And would this Android develop an eye? Not would it use AI to develop its eye? So it doesn't need the A anymore.
But you mean to develop its creative eye? Is that what you mean?
Well, yeah, exactly. If I'm remembering right, there was there's a couple of camera things you can put on top of your camera, little devices you put on, like your hot shoe of your camera, and connect it to your camera. And it analyzes the scene in front of you,
right,
and determines what it is you're trying to shoot and sets your camera settings for you.
right.
Okay? So there are a couple of devices out there, like, and it's a bit like lightning triggers and all that they're kind of the same sort of genre. So you're sort of thinking about it, well, what are they doing? They're taking an image bank of like images and trying to recreate it.
Yeah,
that's what an AI robot would probably try and do. Is it assess the situation I'm in? I'm in a room with natural light and a person standing by the window.
Yep.
Look through a million similar photos and then create something along that line.
And then it needs to tell you, step 1 foot to the right so you get the angle of the light better. You get a bit lower.
I saw an amazing photo this week of a little girl huddled in the back of like an old 50s car in black and white, and the light streaming through the car window. And I had to zoom in right in to see if it was a real photo or if it was AI. And it was only because there was a couple of little areas on the eye where it hadn't generated the image quite properly, but I could tell that it wasn't a real photo.
Wow.
Yeah, but I looked at the photo, I was flicking through my Facebook and go, oh, look at that image. Yeah, it's a great photo. And then stopped and hang on, no, it's not.
Yeah, right.
But for a little while there, I thought, what a cool shot,
And isn't that telling that this technology is so new and already it is that close? Yeah. To being...
Well, speaking of, because I've got my next story is also an AI image story. So we've talked a little bit about the evil of AI.
Yep.
Well, this is the AI good.
Right.
Is that this company, this people in this non-profit organisation is interviewing Holocaust survivors,
right,
and using Holocaust survivors to generate AI memories of what they went through in the camps, of what they remember and what they look like and what kind of clothing and what kind of environment.
Wow.
And it's recreating images, and they're getting some of them saying are reasonably close or accurate to what they recall it being like as a child in the concentration camp.
Yeah, right.
So it's now creating images of something that never existed. Yeah, the photo proof never existed.
Yeah,
but we can now visually see that story in the most accurate way we've probably ever been able to.
Yeah, right.
Because this is my perspective of being there at that time.
Yeah.
So the YouTube video on there, if anyone wants to have a look through there, I thought that was really, really interesting. Yeah. So we start talking about what's AI going to do, and the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
Well, maybe there's all sorts of good.
Yeah.
That can generate who knows what.
Yeah.
It's only going to be a limited period of time where it's useful, because anyone born, say, 1995 onwards, have already got 10 trillion photos. They've photographed every moment in their life anyway. Yeah. So there are no gaps to fill.
Yeah.
anyone prior to that, there's plenty of gaps. And I remember things as a kid, moments and things that we did and places we went that there are no photos of. Wouldn't it be awesome if we could use words to recreate that moment from our youth and go, look at that,
Well, I've mentioned to Kath a couple of times that, I don't have a lot of photos of me.
Yeah.
Because I'm always the one taking the photos.
Oh, do you want photos of you at this age? Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. My wife's the same. Not many photos of my wife.
Yeah, right.
It's there's plenty of photos of me being a dick. At this sort of from 40 onwards sort of stuff, but not a lot of photos of her, not a lot of photos of all four of us together.
Yeah, right.
So so you're saying yourself, not a lot of photos of yourself, and as a kid, you probably got 10 photos of yourself. Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, I'm about saying maybe 10 as well.
Yeah.
But I remember moments.
Yeah.
Pretty darn clearly.
Yeah.
And so what's the potential future that we could recreate our childhood memories, and what a legacy we could then pass on to our families.
Imagine if it got to the point where you would sit and have a conversation with the AI, and the AI would almost sketch it like a criminal etch-a-sketch artist.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you just go,
exactly.
oh, no, the tree over there was a bit bigger, and the house was. Yeah.
Yeah, Mum was a bit younger. Make her a bit younger. No, too young. No, she's not a baby. She's grown up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, you know, that's going to happen. You have to imagine. You know, if we're a couple of years into this AI phenomenon, and as you say, it's this good already. Well, what? And we're working with fairly basic word prompt.
Yeah, the input is probably the crudest part of the thing.
For AI to be able to analyze language.
Yeah.
You look at what you marry Siri and AI together, and you just talk to it, and as you say, it live generates, and you adjust, and
interesting times
stuff
ahead,
mate. Let's hope we're around to see it. Anyway, so there's a couple of AI stories. What have you got for this week?
Well, the first thing that I've got is one that I found.
Yeah, the Schmidt head.
And this is a kid. Don't be like that. Anthony Schmidt. His
Schmidt head.
website is dated
Anthony
2020. And it says on his About page that he is a 14-year-old boy with autism. So based on the fact that it's now 23, it's 3 years later, I'm guessing he's now 17 years with autism. But he's a kid who loves cars.
Yeah.
And he has made it like his passion project is he gets models of cars and he builds little dioramas, but then goes out onto streets, like he might find an old garage or something, and he'll set the diorama up in front, and just using perspective, he shoots these amazing, what appear to be period piece photographs with an iPhone. Yes. So, you know, I looked at some of these images. I first saw some of his work, I don't know, probably 12 months ago, but it just came across my radar again in the last couple of weeks. And on one hand, you sort of skim through it and you go, oh, well, yeah, it all starts to look the same after a while.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's his niche. He loves what he's doing, and he's clearly mastered the process, and he's just generated these amazing scenes, and I say good on him.
The thing I like the most of it is his ability to really grasp perspective.
Yes.
There's some stuff where he's, there's like one with some cars in front of a church. Well, the church is obviously fake as well.
Right.
But the background trees and stuff aren't.
Right.
So his ability to work the foreground and background perspective so they don't look out of place is exceptionally good, you know? Yeah. So his eye for that kind of balance is fabulous.
Yeah.
You know? But as you say, it's a rinse, lather, repeat. It's doing the same thing kind of over and over again.
Yeah, and I don't know if, you know, that just satisfies that part of his autistic nature, you know, that maybe doing this stuff over and over again brings him some level of satisfaction that
and at the same time,
the rest of us may or may not appreciate.
He's already developed to this stage that he can
awesome.
stay there. Yeah, but...
So I thought that was worth a look. Carl Hemmings sent us an email. He said, Happy New Year, guys, and to all of our listeners. Welcome to Esports Are Us. That's great news, Glynn. In getting a pedal assist e-bike, now you can stop joking about me riding a bike. No, seriously, Mr. Glynn, e-bikes are a good move. I'm just waiting for a kit to convert one of my many bikes to e-assist, as I'm not getting any younger, and the previous cancer health scares from years gone by are catching up with me. It doesn't help. As soon as I leave my front door, I have a 5% gradient to ride up.
Well, it's not the 5% gradient. It's how long that 5% gradient goes for. If it's 3 steps, it ain't so bad. Exactly. If it's 400 metres, it's a killer.
Yeah. Yeah. As you explained, the bikes can work you as hard or not as hard as you want. Maybe consider using your Apple Watch or Garmin as a tachometer. Ask your cardiologist what zone you should ride in. P.S. I'm just looking for your Strava.com account now. Cheers.
So I have all my watch all set up. But, I'm not no social with people, so I don't share it with anybody. Yeah, I don't share it with my wife.
Have you been out on the bike?
Well, I strained my back pretty badly.
Mm-hmm.
And for a couple of weeks, so I'm still in I'm kind of just past the recovery stage of that now. So I've been out for a few 4 or 5 kilometre rides, nothing big, you know.
That's great.
I did 4.5K yesterday, and I was out most of the day photographing. But yeah, it's still just a balance. It's a balancing act of not. And as I said, I had some heart issues this week, so I've been sort of fairly gentle with myself.
Right.
Yeah. So I got a battery of tests to go and have done tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes.
Right. Paul Sutton sent us one last one to remember 2022. I'm not sure that we really want to remember 2022. But anyway, I tried to forget it. These are the winning images from the 11th annual Ocean Art Underwater Photo Contest. Oh, I like the sharks, the first place shark trio.
I think I might have missed that. Oh no, maybe looking at something else. Must be looking at a completely different thread of images that you are. There's an honourable mention for a parasite. But here's the thing again, you know.
Yeah.
We're so used to seeing good images. I mean, not good, amazing images that you don't even take in. If you don't have a passion for the subject, you casually glance at awesome stuff and pass by it without hardly even looking.
Yeah. And the other side of it, I think I've said this before, is your standard bell curve distribution. You know, when you put, 100 killer images together, you then still start looking for, the distribution curve and which ones are the standouts, and you're passing over the ones that you go, well, out of this collection, that's not as great as this other one. But on its own...
I don't think I've ever heard it described better, Bruce.
Oh, thank you.
It's spot on. Yeah. Well thought through. I had to judge a photo contest, which, as you know how much I love judging photos. It was like 1,400 images over 42 categories up in Queensland.
Wow!
So they'd set the entire day out for judging. I did it in 42 minutes.
Wow!
And they're like, you can't possibly be judging these. I said, I am. Watch. And it's the same thing. But your description then is exactly of the belt. They laid out 100 images.
Yeah.
And my eye can immediately see the 3 or 4 that are the top of that curve.
Yeah.
You know? And so if I'm only looking for place getters, I'm not looking at the rest. Yeah. It's pretty simple to do, Yeah. I don't have to judge each image on its merit because 97 out of the 100 ain't going to make it. And they show, it's very rare, would you say, there's 50 out of that 100, especially when this is a rural art fair photo. It's not like this photo competition where the standard's obviously higher.
Yeah.
But, it's not hard to your brain very quickly starts to key in on the peak of the curve.
Yeah.
I've never thought of it that way before, and you've nailed it. The script was fabulous.
Thank you.
It's the nicest thing I've ever said to you on the podcast.
I think it is.
Now. Can we stop now?
I'll just keep listening to this episode forever.
Put it on a loop. This episode will be called "The Day Glynn Was Nice for a Minute."
And then Paul sent us an email and said, why are all the pictures of the big red rock all the same? We should have covered this right at the beginning of the podcast when you were talking about your fear of heights. There is several kilometres of fencing and no parking signs before this car park. This is the only place you can get a shot of Uluru with the sun setting over it. For those outside of Australia, Uluru is the traditional Indigenous name for what most of us know as Ayers Rock. This was taken in the low season in the middle of hot summer. Don't let the clouds fool you. It was still really hot and just sticky as well. Another example of every single person getting exactly the same shot of the rock, and they all look exactly the same. We'll put Paul's photo in the show notes with this episode.
I mean, that brings it, if you remembers that there's that Rainbow Falls in Yosemite or whatever it is, where there's a certain time of year as the sun's setting, the light comes, Firefall, and you see the behind the scenes. There's 300 photographers all pretty much standing on each other's head to get exactly the same shot.
One day in February,
at one particular angle, and all of a sudden, everyone's getting that same shot, So again, though, if you were to look at a photo competition from from Yosemite, for example, and you saw 50 firefall shots, you're probably going to be able to eliminate most of them pretty quickly, aren't you?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't stand out unless there's someone's done something different. And it's the same. Unfortunately, it's the same with a lot of astro stuff. Some guy with a light inside his tent, standing outside pointing a torch at the sky. Yeah. Technically, great shot.
Seen one, you've seen them all.
It's like if you go down to Mexico and photograph those identical twins. Now, if you've seen one, you've seen them all. You only have to photograph one of them, Bruce. Yeah.
Boom, boom.
Bad joke, no. You've seen one, you've seen them all. That's some interesting stuff this week, Bruce, so we should apologise for listening.
We should.
I've been listening to a lot of podcasts this last couple of weeks, I might add. Not ours, obviously.
No, of course not.
I've been listening. But get this. This is amazing. But there's one called the Guitar Dads podcast.
Oh, jeez.
Right? Guitar Dads, based out of Boston, the US.
Right.
And they started off just normal, and then they started doing live to YouTube whilst recording.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so you could see the guys do it. And one guy, get this, one of the guys, obviously the Bruce of the two. Here's the thing. No, actually, they're very similar because, so the Guitar Dads, they've known each other for a fair few years. They both play guitar, but one's an amateur who just likes to poodle around with his guitar. The other one's kind of he's in a cover band and he plays live. So one's kind of a pro, one's an amateur. So there's some similarities there. Yeah. And it's the amateur guy that does all the actual work for the podcast. He sets it up, he does, but get this, Bruce. I'm stunned. I'm not sure why we've never thought of it before. Yeah. He's got notes laid out in front of him about how the podcast is going to go. They've got a plan, Bruce.
What a novel idea.
They've got segments, Bruce. And they do the same segments most weeks.
Right.
I've never thought of that before. What a great idea.
That is a splendid idea.
So if you like guitars and dads, Guitar Dads podcast. Excellent. But I'm listening to that. I'm listening to a prehistory guys, a prehistoric Neolithic podcast, which is very good.
But hang on, whoa! Tell me more. Yeah. Is it like a work of fiction or is it a historic?
No. It's actually real two guys,
like an archaeology type.
Sorry,
like an archaeology podcast.
Well, if you have an interest in this stuff, I highly recommend you watch the YouTube video "Standing with Stones."
It is so funny you mention that because I was looking at my watch later list today and I saw that I had added that to my watch later list and I've just never got around to it.
So you've got to watch that. It's the two guys, the guy who filmed it, the guy who was being filmed.
Right.
They have a YouTube channel and a podcast where they interview archaeologists and prehistory people and trace humanity and all sorts of amazing stuff. So I've been listening to their podcast a lot.
So it must have been you telling me about that video, which is why I'd added it to my watch later list. Yeah.
Don't just put it on. I should also mention I'm watching a show called Poker Face at the moment.
Oh, how good is that with Natasha Lyonne?
I'm 2 episodes in, but it's very good so far.
We're 4 episodes in. Yeah.
And we just finished watching one last week, Inside Man, with Stanley Tucci.
Okay, don't know that one.
Phenomenal.
Right.
So good. One of the best bits of TV I've seen in years, I think. Right. And that's saying stuff. There's a lot of good TV stuff around these days.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But that's only a 4-parter, so if you don't have a lot of time, it's a good one to watch. But and then I've been listening to another podcast. So I do prehistory guys. I'm doing the Guitar Dads, my North Melbourne football podcast, and then I've been re-listening to the Serial podcast.
Oh yes,
which is
the original one.
The original one. They got a kid called Adnan Syed, because after 22 years in jail, he's finally been freed and all charges dropped.
Wow.
For it, and I listened to the whole thing when it was originally going, and I bought the book. Yeah, and I read the book.
Did you get the T-shirt?
I didn't get the T-shirt or the mug.
Right.
But then now he's been released. I'm sort of re-listening to and just listening to just how completely stuffed up the police investigation was. It just shocks you,
Yeah.
So podcasts are quite good, Bruce. So you should get into them.
They are brilliant.
Yeah, they're good things. You can listen to them like when you're in the car.
Yeah.
You can listen to them like I've been doing like photos on the computer. I listen to podcasts.
Yeah. They're good on the train too.
You can do them on the train. So they're quite quite useful to keep your mind active while you're doing mundane.
Yeah, it's funny that.
There's a tip for our listeners. Find some good podcasts. Hey, I'll throw one more thing out. Guitar Dad's reminded me of a band I've been wanting to pay attention to.
Yeah.
I listened to an EP of this band 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
Really liked them. Forgot all about them. They released their album finally in 2021, and so a band called Dirty Honey.
Okay.
And the album Dirty Honey. If you like your bluesy guitar rock with a bit of heavy, a bit of a wailing voice, Dirty Honey, you can thank me later.
So are they a little bit like Black Keys?
Better.
Oh, that's a big call. Okay.
Yeah.
Dirty Honey.
Dirty Honey, and the album's called Dirty Honey.
Yeah. All right. Well, I will be checking them out.
Get into them. But the Black Keys, the Dan, whatever his surname,
Dan Auerbach.
I forget, is the main writer and producer with my mate Marcus King, who's a phenomenal blues guy who's coming to Australia for Blues Fest and doing some side tours. If you like a bit of blues, catch up with Marcus King, because and even just go watch him his YouTube videos, because he's phenomenal. He's been playing since he was like 8. His dad was a touring musician and his grandfather was a touring musician.
Right.
So family history, and this kid's a freak. So
wow,
that's it.
Nice.
We have mentioned some of that.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Good to chat.
You can say that. Yeah, all good. Thank you for listening, everybody.
Yeah, we will catch you in 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah, that's right, 2 weeks. I want a review of the album for the next podcast, Bruce.
Okay, Dirty Honey.
By Dirty Honey.
For sure.
And if any listeners listen, we want a written review as well. Let's do a poll out of 10 and see where it rates, you know?
Right. Cool.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.
You've been listening to Shutters Inc. For questions, comments, and feedback, email theboys@shuttersincpodcast.com.